Welcome back to Wainsider, the place where we peel back the curtain and dive deep into the drama, the power struggles, and the raw emotions that make WWE more than just a show. It's a world built on loyalty, rivalry, and sometimes, heartbreak. Tonight, we're taking you inside one of the most electrifying and unsettling moments to hit WWE SmackDown in recent memory. A moment that didn't just send shockwaves through the WWE universe, but also tore open old wounds between two men whose careers are forever intertwined. For years, Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins have crossed paths under the brightest lights in this business. Their battles have been legendary, defined by raw power versus calculated strategy, destruction versus resilience. But this confrontation wasn't about titles or victories. It was personal, deeply personal. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. From the moment Brock's music hit inside that arena, there was a chilling silence before the storm. Fans knew something was coming, but no one could have predicted just how far it would go. Even Seth Rollins, the so-called visionary, seemed unprepared for what was about to unfold. The history between these two runs deeper than championship gold. Brock represents chaos, a beast unleashed, a mercenary who answers to no one. Seth represents control, a master manipulator who thrives on playing the game better than anyone else. Together, they've built a legacy defined by conflict, and tonight, that legacy came crashing down in the most violent way possible. For months, there have been whispers backstage that tensions were brewing. Seth has been pushing himself harder than ever, feeling the weight of expectations not only from the fans but from his own inner circle. He's been carrying SmackDown on his back, trying to be the leader WWE desperately needs. But leadership comes at a cost. And Brock Lesnar is the one man who refuses to be led by anyone. Brock doesn't follow orders. He doesn't play politics. He walks into a ring, destroys whoever is in his way, and walks back out. That's always been his code, and tonight, Seth Rollins learned that lesson in the harshest way imaginable. At first, their face-off felt tense but controlled. Brock stood there, silent and imposing, while Seth tried to talk him down, his voice measured but trembling ever so slightly. The crowd held its breath, watching two titans standing mere feet apart, years of rivalry and resentment boiling beneath the surface. Seth spoke of legacy, of the future of WWE, of building something that would last beyond either of them. But Brock's expression never changed. There was no acknowledgement, no hint of compromise, only cold, calculated rage. And then it happened. Without warning, Brock exploded, unleashing a furious attack that stunned everyone. The beast incarnate didn't just strike Seth, he tore through him with a brutality we haven't seen in years. The ring became a war zone as officials and security scrambled to intervene, only to be tossed aside like rag dolls. The crowd's cheers turned to gasps of horror as Seth crumpled to the mat, clutching his ribs, his face twisted in pain and disbelief. This wasn't just a fight. It was a message, loud, violent, and terrifyingly clear. As Brock stood over Seth's fallen body, you could feel the entire dynamic of SmackDown shift. This wasn't about championships or even personal pride anymore. It was about dominance. It was about one man reminding the world who truly holds the power in WWE. Backstage, chaos erupted. Superstars were visibly shaken, some rushing to Seth's side while others kept their distance, afraid to get caught in Brock's path of destruction. The tension was palpable, like the air right before a storm tears everything apart. Whispers spread quickly. Some claimed this was inevitable, that Seth had been pushing Brock too hard for too long. Others believed Brock's return had been carefully orchestrated by forces higher up, a power play designed to shift the balance of WWE entirely. One thing was certain, trust had been shattered. For Seth, this betrayal cuts deeper than just physical pain. Brock wasn't just an opponent. At certain points in their careers, there had been respect, maybe even a reluctant understanding. That fragile bond was obliterated tonight, leaving Seth not only physically broken but emotionally devastated. Brock, on the other hand, seemed almost eerily calm after the attack. As he walked up the ramp, there was no celebration, no acknowledgement of the chaos he left behind. Just that cold, merciless presence, a reminder that he answers to no one. The fallout from this will be felt for weeks, maybe months. Seth's future is uncertain. His body may heal, but the psychological wounds, those might never fully close. And SmackDown, already teetering on the edge of instability, now finds itself on the brink of all-out war. This confrontation also has ripple effects beyond just Brock and Seth. The locker room is divided. Loyalties are being tested. Alliances are being questioned. And behind the scenes, WWE management is scrambling to regain control before the chaos spreads even further. For the fans, it was a night they'll never forget. They witnessed not just a physical battle, but the unraveling of a relationship that had defined an era. They saw what happens when pride, ego, and unrestrained fury collide in the most public of ways. In many ways, this was more than just an attack. It was a symbolic moment, a passing of the torch, or perhaps the destruction of it altogether. Brock Lesnar reminded everyone that no matter how much WWE changes, the beast remains the ultimate force of nature. As Seth recovers, he faces the hardest challenge of his career. Not just returning to the ring, but finding the strength to confront Brock again, and to confront himself. What kind of leader will he be now that his authority has been so violently stripped away? For Brock, the message is simple. He's back, he's angry, and he's not done. The entire roster now lives in fear of when and where he'll strike next. And for the WWE Universe, tonight was a sobering reminder that beneath the lights, the pyrotechnics, and the spectacle, this is still a world built on blood and betrayal. In the end, there are no clean victories. There are no perfect heroes. There are only men like Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, driven by ambition, haunted by their past, and forever locked in battles that transcend the ring itself. As the show faded to black, the image of Seth Rollins lying broken while Brock Lesnar stood tall will linger in our minds. A brutal visual of what happens when trust is shattered, when power shifts, and when the line between brotherhood and war is finally crossed. This is WWE at its most raw, its most real. And it leaves us all asking one question: when the dust settles, who will rise from the ashes, and who will be left buried beneath them?